Okay, here we have 3 questions from Tony. One is, can you embed a video into a custom title? And the second is the Asset Center doesn't have a search bar. That's true. I just confirmed that, and I would recommend Tony submit it as an example of something that a feature that should be added. And thirdly, FilmStock can be accessed from Filmora. I'm pretty sure you can click on access to FilmStock. However, it will send you out to your browser, the web, and that's where you download it. So let's get going on how to deal with this issue of having a preset video in there and changing it to add your own video. Okay, let's go in and show how we can make our own background video. Normally when I was making something, I would just be using this default title because it's just the basic title, but I just want to cover the aspects that Tony mentioned in the question. So I'm going to type in ink here, ink title, and I'm just going to grab one of these here. I'll just grab this one and drag it down to here. And so that when we look at it, we can see we have letters and we also have a background. And if we look at the basic text, we can see that there are 2 layers, a text layer and a video layer. If we go into advanced, this becomes a little more obvious. We have 1 bar for the text and we have another bar for the preset video. So basically, this is what we want to replicate. We cannot reuse this video here. It can't be altered. When there's preset videos in there, it's baked into the thing. We can, however, get rid of it, which we will do. And as Tony was saying, the only thing that you can add in here is an image. You cannot add a video in. So how can we deal with it? Let's take a look at that. Before we do anything else, let's just change the letters just to make out our own little custom set. And what I will do is here, let's just go back to the basic here and find some kind of strange title, text rather. I think we'll use this one here. Okay, so this is just our basic titles here. We can change the animation of this title. We can do that in the advanced mode, or we can just click animation up here. And we have an in, that means when it starts, and we have an out. So we can actually select 2 different things, but we'll make it fairly simple. We're going to make it an appearing on the in, and it will take 0.84 seconds to appear. We can lengthen that or whatever, but we'll go to the out and we'll do a disappear on the out. So now our letters will appear and then they will disappear. Okay, so it's a little bit different than the typewriter mode. Okay, now we want to do something about this background here. Again, I would have started with the default title, so I didn't have a background, but we can go into the advanced mode and we can simply just hide it, which is not really good enough. What we'll do instead is we will just delete it. So now all we have is the letters. Great. Apply that, and now we're back to appearing and disappearing. So the next thing we want to do is just get rid of this magnetic timeline, move it up, and yes, you will be able to change the words in the title each time you use it. But let's get that background video, which is what all this is about. And one way we can do that is we can go into effects here, and I typed in smoke effect before. You can type in different effects here. We can use the shiny golden layer for, as one thing, or we can just have the basic smoke, which is this one here, and you can choose whatever you want, any one of these. But we're going to drag this down and we're going to put it right below our title. Now that's great, except it's down at the bottom and we want it around the letters. So in order to do that, we don't really have any positioning variables here, that parameters that we can change. So what we need to do is we need to make this into a compound clip, and we can just right click on it, create compound clip, and we'll call it background. I actually don't even have to give it any kind of name, but once it is a compound clip, it's like any other video clip, and it will have sizes and locations and so forth. So we can use the Y coordinates here and bring it up. Now it plays across the whole screen, and we don't really want that. So what we'll do is we'll put a mask around this. Now we could just use one of these preset masks, but I think that it's a little more fun to just do our own drawing. So we will draw our little title and give it some kind of shape here. And make sure you click on the very first one, and that gives you your title, or that gives you your mask. Okay, so that's pretty rough along the edges. So a good thing to do here is just to blur the edge a little bit. So now it looks a little better, a little more natural. And so here we go. And one thing that we would want to do, it starts out with the smoke right away. It stays with the smoke right away. But maybe we want to make that kind of fade in and fade out. And we can do that. We go back to the basic here, and down in compositing we see the opacity mode. So let's say that we wanted to maybe be, I don't know, close to a second or something like that, or something like a second thereabouts. And at that point we want it to be 100%. Now the thing about keyframing is once you put in one keyframe and move the playhead, in this case back to the beginning, when we'll use the shift home feature to move us to the beginning, we can now just drag the opacity, and you'll notice that it automatically inserted our other keyframe. So we now have the smoke fading in, and then our letters appear, and we can do the same thing here. The letters are starting to disappear right about there. So why don't we just set a keyframe for 100% there, and then do shift end, and that gets us to the end, and let's usually go back one frame, and then we drag it down to 0. So now we have a fade in and fade out, and we've made it with our own custom title. So it works pretty well. Now that's great, but that's one title. How can we reuse it? How can we make it into something that's reusable over and over again? We simply take the title and our background video, and by the way, I used an effects video. If you have another video of your own that you want to use here, you can do that, but that's not a question for this session. This is just how to make this custom title with your own background video. We'll select both of them, and we will create another compound clip, and in this case we'll call it my title. Well, let's just do that, and that's wonderful. Okay, so we do that, and there is my title. Okay, it's one clip. Now how can we make this reusable so that every time we start a project we have this custom titles available? And the way to do that, what we want to do is we want to add it into this custom compound clip. You can see I have another one here. I'm going to go ahead and delete that one. All we have to do is right click on it, and then we choose Save as Compound Clip Custom. In doing so, we have now added our little title in here, and this shows this will be available every time we start a new project. This is going to be in here. And how would you change the words in this? All you do is go to the main timeline, and you go into My Title. It's going to open it up, and then you're going to go right in here, and in the basic mode you're going to type in your new title, whatever you want it to be. There we go, and we will just apply. And to get back to the main timeline, we would simply go out here. So we could start a new project, and we can go into the title by double clicking on it or choosing it from here on the drop down list. And once we're in it, we could then change the words of the title. So now we made our own custom title with its own custom background.